Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm coming to you with a really quick car video today. You guys know, if you follow my channel long enough, that Wednesdays are my longest day at work. So I am not going to be able to get home and do a garage gun talk video like I normally do. But I did want to make a video today and address a comment that I got on my video yesterday, which, by the way, I was very happy to see the overwhelmingly positive response about it, and essentially saying don't call out people on social media accounts and don't be hypocritical when it comes to firearm stuff, saying like, I won't comply, and then calling out other people that you perceive, because they might not actually be breaking the law, but calling them out in a public forum where it could draw law enforcement attention. So if you hate the ATF, don't tell the ATF, this guy might be breaking the law. Don't do stuff like that. But anyway, I had an overwhelmingly positive response about it. But I did want to take just a moment and address one commenter. And often when I talk about politics and gun politics, one of the things I bring up a lot is that I am a libertarian. Now, of course, I don't believe or follow every platform and every plank of the libertarian platform, just like most of you, if you're a Republican, probably do not believe and follow every plank and platform policy position of the Republican Party. So just because I say I'm one thing doesn't mean I have to believe in everything, okay? But in general, I'm a live and let live type of guy. Don't infringe upon my rights, I won't infringe upon yours, so forth, okay? Small, limited government, that kind of thing. And I wanted to point out something with the commenter I had yesterday, because somebody asked what I thought was going to be a very intelligent line of questioning, okay? They asked in their first comment, they said, regarding when I was talking about not reporting people or perceived violations, they asked, well, don't you believe in the rule of law? When I responded, of course I believe in the rule of law. I just am not a law enforcement officer, and it's not my duty to be a snitch or a spy for law enforcement. Now, as I said, if you see somebody doing something, setting up something illegal, like, oh, that they're building bombs with the intention of hurting people, well, okay, that is something you probably want to report. Or if you see somebody doing something that could cause grave bodily injury to somebody else, or destruction of property, or essentially depriving other people of their rights, okay, that's something that I think is well within the bounds of saying, okay, well, maybe we need to have law enforcement look into this. And I responded saying, well, I have no legal obligation to report crimes that I see, just like the police have no legal obligation to protect me, okay? So why do I want to be on their side when they're technically not on my side? And they kept asking me the question over and over again. I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to get me to say, well, I don't believe in law and order, and then whatever it was. Or they were trying to make me be a hypocrite by saying, I do believe in law and order, but I think it's okay for people to break the law. And they just kept badgering me about it. And I just wanted to say that they eventually said, it's your duty to report things that you see. If you think somebody's breaking the law, you should report it. And I don't know where this person stands politically. I'm going to assume if they're watching my channel, they're probably more on the conservative, right-leaning side or libertarian side versus the liberal or Democrat side, but I could be wrong about that. And their mentality honestly scared me, because I guess in their mindset, if you see somebody going 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, you should call the cops while you're driving and report them and give them their tag number in the car and where they're at. Or if you see somebody not properly recycling something, they threw a milk jug in the garbage can versus the recycling, you call the police. Man, what kind of society would we live in where you have to live in fear of your neighbor, that if you do something, whether that be a perceived violation where actually you weren't breaking the law, or one that you were in some minor thing like not recycling, that you get the cops called on you, and the cops are supposed to come out and investigate. Did you not put that in the recycle bin? we would all live in fear of each other, and that would only sow the seeds of discontent within our society. Imagine that everything you did, you had to look over your shoulder, and then you'd have essentially the politicization of law enforcement, where, you know what, I don't like this guy. Your boss or a coworker or whatever, your neighbor, and just go, I don't like this guy. I'm just going to start calling in violations. Officers, I think he has a pistol brace on a gun he's not supposed to have, huh? And then what is law enforcement supposed to do? Just show up to your house like every day? You get, okay, so we got a call about you speeding. We got a call about you with a pistol brace. We got a call about you not recycling right. So we're going to have to do a full-scale investigation. And every day you're supposed to call the cops and say, well, neighbor A does this, neighbor B does this, neighbor C does this. I saw this guy in the high. What kind of society? That is what they do in North Korea, right? So I don't understand the mentality of people like that. So this is another reason why I'm a libertarian, is that there are authoritarian a-holes on both sides of the aisle. You have the people that are, that want to use the power of government to enforce their will upon others, and that's mainly on the left. But on the right, you have people that are extreme law and order, where they just want the government to enforce every law that's on the books, and essentially we'd all be in jail and in camps, because every day you probably break a bunch of laws, whether that's speeding or whatever it is. You probably do something every day that you might even think is innocuous, like you throw a can of WD-40 away, but because of environmental protection laws and regulations, you just committed a felony, because you didn't dispose of it right. So it's absolutely ridiculous. And what kind of society would that be in? And that's why I fall in the libertarian camp, because I don't think that we should have law enforcement and government doing that type of thing. And there are people out there that have this stick in their butt about this stuff. And man, I don't want neighbors like that. If I have neighbors, I know what the county ordinance is during like 4th of July. You're not supposed to light off fireworks. But let's just be honest. I know people and see people in my neighborhood that light off fireworks. Am I going to call the police? No, it's just a bunch of kids with some firecrackers. Just let them have some fun, okay? And, if it gets out of control, okay, maybe we have a problem. But they're just lighting off some fireworks. It's illegal. I don't care. Is that really worth calling the cops and ruining people's fun? No, it's not. Why are people like that? I eventually just ended up banning the person because it's obvious their line of questioning was not an actual dialogue. It was trying to instigate things. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to clarify that. I know a lot of you guys didn't see that comment, but that's the kind of stuff that truly scares me, because whether they're leftist authoritarians or right conservative authoritarians, they're all authoritarians. And sometimes you have to be self-reflective on things, because I know how in politics it's easy to say, well, I believe these certain things, and maybe you feel like you're morally justified. Do you have the right and the moral obligation to enforce those with a heavy-handed law enforcement tactic? There's many things that, for example, I do not use any controlled substances, okay? Whether that be, marijuana or anything else. Never have. Doesn't interest me. Don't want to do it, okay? But I'm also a libertarian, and I look at it and go, okay, in the music world, because I'm a professional musician, I see people doing pot all the time. But guess what? I don't care. I really don't care. I know it's illegal. I might not think it's the best thing in the world for them to do, but whatever. They're not hurting anybody. Now, if they're doing harder drugs, I guess it kind of goes more into a gray area, but for the most part, it's just like, well, just stay out of people's lives. Until they begin to infringe upon your rights or the rights of others, just let them make those decisions. Just don't be an authoritarian a-hole. You know what I'm saying? And you can be like, well, I don't think drugs should be legal. That's fine. But do you really think that you should ruin people's lives for having possession of like a small bag of marijuana, because that's what some cops will do. You know, oh my gosh, they have a little bag of marijuana, time to destroy their lives. So they lose their job, so they lose their income, they lose the place where they live. Now they can't feed their family, and it just becomes this spiraling out of control thing. Why? Because they had a little pot. You know, but you're like, but you're on your high horse. Oh, I did the law and order thing. You know, whatever. But that's why I'm a libertarian and why I hate authoritarian a-holes on both sides of the aisle. But that's all I got for you today. Let me see what time it is here. Yep, it's time for me to go back to work. So I hope you guys have a great day, a great evening, and I hope this clarified something in my last video. So I should be back in the garage hopefully tomorrow night. So, as always, thanks for watching.